Welcome everybody back to theclinicaltrialsguru.com. It's becoming a popular place for interaction with our fans. Today's video is going to be all about us interacting and answering questions to the best of our ability and answering your questions. And we also have a lot of guest gurus we plan to bring on that we've already scheduled to bring on that can answer these questions even more so. But before we do anything else, we've got to thank the producers of our show. These are people who signed up for the Guru profile pages. In the last few weeks, we've had 5 people sign up. And if you include South Coast Clinical Trials, which is our own company, Don, it's 6.
Mm-hmm.
So
good.
We'll give them all a shout out. And by the way, I'm promoting these companies hard all month of May. So what I'm going to do is every month during the first week, anyone new who signs up for a Guru profile page that month is going to get me tweeting about them nonstop, posting them on LinkedIn, posting them on Facebook, Pinterest, Google+, all that stuff. I mean nonstop to the point where people actually get sick of it. So you will be getting your links out there to everybody.
And Dan, did you get sick of yourself, man?
No.
Okay.
I do not.
I
love what I do, Don.
They won't get sick of you, Dan.
No, they won't. And I'm going to keep it authentic, but I am going to promote the hell out of them.
Yeah, and there you go. It's you know, where can you get promotion out and get your face out in the public like that?
Right. So for $99 a year, you not only get to be a producer of the show, the first 100 people who sign up a profile get to be producers of the show. You not only get your links on our page to your site and let the world know what you do, but you get me promoting the hell out of you. I mean, $99. So, and Don, once he gets on Twitter, he'll do the same. But anyways,
I haven't been such one to do much tweeting.
Well, Don, you're huge on LinkedIn. I need to get you a shirt that says, I'm big on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'm LinkedIn. I'm linked. That's all I was going to say. I'm linked.
You love that network.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let me shout out really quick. It's, of course, South Coast Clinical Trials. But more importantly, it's Sarah Elizabeth Siegler. All right. First one, big shout out. You're the first producer. Resolve Research Solutions, who we just interviewed last week.
Yeah, excellent video.
Excellent video, a fantastic CEO, super. The next one's in Florida, Accurate Clinical Trials. They do psychiatric clinical trials in Orlando, Florida.
Beautiful.
They just signed up the other day. They're Accurate Clinical Trials. They're huge. They have inpatient and outpatient units in Orlando, Florida. They're doing a pretty good job of keeping their social media stuff up to date too. The next one is PTNR Research, all the way from the Netherlands. We've interviewed Vivian on here before. She's a physician from the Netherlands who founded this company. She just signed up for a profile today. The last one, who just signed up literally minutes before we were doing this interview, Don, is Erhardt Clinical Research out in Missouri. We've interviewed her. Jody used to work for the Midwest place where we interviewed the research director and the patient at the same time. Well, since then, she's opened up her own clinic.
Wow, good for her.
Yes, I told her that. So, Jody, congratulations. It's Erhardt Clinical Research in Missouri. So, we've had a lot of activity, and now we're back to, now that we've gone through that, we can focus on the content of this video, Don. And by the way, we're going to shout out people in every video for the first 100 producers. So we may have very long intros or conclusions. We'll see how we're going to work that out. But for now, I mean, you see how long that took, and it's only 5.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to the questions. The first one, Vivian Vanderwall from the Netherlands. How about, she's asking about if we can talk about when a clinical trial gets started at a research clinic. There's multiple vendors we need to work with. We have to get training. Staff has to get trained on numerous different vendors. before we can even start the trial. This is causing startup cost nightmare for the research clinics. First of all, Don, just talk a little bit about the different vendors and type of trainings, and then how can we bill for that stuff?
Well, I think the first training you need to have is good clinical practice, and you need to make sure that all your staff, from the PI to your raters to your coordinators, all have certifications in good clinical trial practice. And if I make note, you want to keep that updated once a year. Once you do it once a year. One of the websites that we registered on, and as a matter of fact, I'm not sure if it cost us or not, but that was Blue Sky. You remember that one, Dan?
Yeah.
Blue Sky. So that's one you can start with good clinical practice. You want to get that done because your monitors, your sponsors like to see that that's in place when they walk in the door. A lot of the other training is going to come from the vendor itself, so I'm not sure what startup cost that they're incurring as far as the training, unless they're getting certified as a coordinator, getting certified in research, because I know here in the United States there are classes you can take for that, but it's not always necessary. It does look good, on your resume.
Well,
but
I think they're more talking about like when there's a new IVRS system that the coordinator needs to learn. I mean, they're talking more about the time it's costing the coordinator to actually do that, as opposed to not enrolling a patient.
All right, then that's the vendors that are going to come along with that are going to be the vendors that are selected by the sponsor of the CRO. And I know one of the big ones out there that are doing a lot of the training has been UBC.
Yes.
And but as far as the cost to do that, then you need to look at if you can build that cost that it's going to take, or that time in reference to cost, into your budget.
Yeah.
So that you can recoup that back. What do you think, Dan?
Physician costs too, because a lot of the trainings are for the PIs or the expensive sub-Is to spend time. I know in the psych industry, for the psych clinical trials, there's different rating trainings that they have to get certified on, and these are psychiatrists who cost like $300 an hour plus. And if you're talking about getting certified for just one vendor, you're talking at 8 hours sometimes. That's $2,400 right there. Then you have another vendor where the PI's got to get certified on using the electronic, the data capture, the EDC. That's another 4 hours. I mean, and that's just the PI's time. So the startup cost could definitely start adding up, and you've got to build that into your budget before you even start 1 minute of this training, which sometimes seems like so overwhelming.
One of the other important things to do is to make sure that you have all that information in one place. I like to keep mine in a binder, all my certifications and my license and resumes. However you want to do it, you can keep it in a file drawer. Keep that stuff on hand so that when you do have a site visit, you can immediately show that information. Other than that, you'll find yourself going back looking for the information and maybe even having to recert all over again when you've been recerted. So just keep that in mind and keep that information in one good location where you can always reach it.
Yeah.
But any startup costs you're getting, I would try to build that back into the contract, because you're right. You're definitely going to eat up a lot of time there at the beginning.
Yep. So thank you, Vivian Vanderwall from PTNR Research. Excellent question, excellent topic. The next one is, we have 2 more questions. They're not producers of the show. They're just people we were interacting with on Facebook. Martin asks, how patients, this one's up your alley, Don, how patients with behavioral problems abuse their own meds, and what doctors are doing to prevent patients from falling into becoming drug seekers.
That's actually a difficult one to answer, to be honest with you. Okay. It's going to, first of all, take the doctor, I think, working closely with the patient, spending time with the patient to find out what's going on. You've got different levels of patients. When I think about that, I think about people who have conditions like schizophrenia or even acute bipolar that require some sort of degree of supervision where they live in a residential facility, then it's going to take the physician working a lot with whoever is running that residential facility, who's spending day-to-day time with those clients. Because I know that some of the new things is that some of these patients in that category are using their meds to get high off of, because there's certain meds like Wellbutrin, I think they can crush it up, snort it, and get a buzz off of it.
Right.
And there's some other, I think there's another antipsychotic, the same thing, they can crush it up. And this has become a problem, because what happens is that then these patients who get these medications, they go through that medication faster than they normally would. By the time they reach their 30-day limit, they've been out of that medication for over a week. And they're out either trying to buy that medication from someone else, or they're taking that medication and selling it to someone for money.
Right.
So it's personally, I think it's a tough one for physicians to really handle. It's going to take a physician, again, that's really aware of what's going on with their patient. They can't spend just 5 minutes with them and write a script and say, we'll see you later. Right. And I think the only way they're going to control that is to really look to see what's going on with the patient. Obviously, at times when they're run out, you know that something's going on, but you know, people come with you all kind of stories. I lost my meds when I moved, or somebody moved my medications, I can't find it, I really need some emergency meds. You know, people come up with all kind of excuses.
Right.
And the best way to control that is to stay on top of what's going on with your client, your patient.
Well, I think you handled that expertly, Don.
Thank you.
The last one is from Amar Yadav. Big shout out. He's asking a kind of complicated one, but we can answer what we can. He says the importance of the investigation of product distribution, storage, and documentation when a sponsor sends a study drug to a research clinic. So let me start. I can't answer too much about on the sponsor's end. I know that they take very great care and many precautions. They will put the investigational product in a temperature-controlled box. If they need to ship it on ice, they do. They usually have dries, special containers for that. If the drugs need to be in room temperature, they do that. Now, each box has like a temperature, a thermometer. Mm-hmm. And if the temperature ever gets above or below the ideal range, the little knob will pop up. It will notify the sponsor. So when the drug gets to the site, a research clinic or a study coordinator will open it, and they'll see the knob sticking out and say, hey, this is damaged drug, I gotta send it back. If the knob is not sticking out, if it's normal, then they can take it. And from that point, what do we usually do, Don?
We store it in our location. If it's the temperature-controlled medication, then we need to store it in a temperature-controlled environment. Getting tongue-tied on that word, Dan.
That's okay. You're a good singer, too.
Okay. But that's what they do. They'll always dictate to you exactly what the temperature range is, and that's how you need to store it. Speaking of storage, something else that might be a good little thing to remember. When you start doing multiple studies, and you might have a room where you're storing the medication, you might have them in a cabinet. Because we've used both. We have a large galvanized cabinet with a lock on it, and another site we had shelves, and we had both. So, but the thing about it, I think sometimes when you get a lot of studies going, sponsors start worrying about, are you going to get those medications mixed? So a good thing to do is to buy these small plastic containers with lids and put your medications in that, so that you can show the sponsor when they come in, here's your medication, it's separate from this medication. Right. And at the same time, you can have them side by side, and there's less chance of getting things mixed up.
Excellent. Thank you to the three of you, Maria Dove.
Great questions.
Maria Navarrete. Yeah, keep them coming. And Vivian Vanderwall. And keep interacting with us. We love to get your questions answered. And again, Thank you, Sarah Elizabeth Siegler, Resolve Research
Absolutely.
Solutions.
Way to go, Buckeyes.
Oh, go Buckeyes. Yes, Sarah Siegler, Resolve Research Solutions, Accurate Clinical Trials, PTNR, and Erhardt Clinical Research. I will be promoting your companies like crazy in this month of May. And if you want to get promoted like crazy, as an added bonus, sign up, register your profile, and I will do that. Okay, so Don, anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think that was good. Like I said, those are some excellent questions, and that definitely keeps us working.
Yeah, keep us busy. We like it. This is Dan and Don, theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Take care.
Thank you.